Yeah, Roblox. So today they announced, which I thought they already announced at GDC. So I'm a little bit confused about this, or maybe I was just hearing it from people. But they announced that they are launching a new form of advertising, a new form.
For the platform.
Right, for the platform is rewarded video ads, and they're partnering with Google Advertising Solutions to make that happen. This is a big deal, right? And for me, it's a big deal because they have completely capitulated to the idea that you need advertising on their platform. And this is like something that, obviously they've been talking about for about a year, but this is like really kind of going down a rabbit hole of actually monetizing the unmonetizable. And I think it's actually really, really strong for Roblox in general. And rewarded ads are obviously so much better than the bullshit, like, static ads that they had inside the experiences so anyway, I think this is huge for them.
Here. Transforms it into an ad platform, right? You've got crazy DAU, low monetization. And if we look at the monetization that they do disclose, because remember, they do that in their quarterly earnings, they tell you what the average bookings per monthly unique payer are. And so that is about $20 on average. It's been remarkably stable. There's cyclical trends here, which is why you see Q4 always spike, but they haven't really been able to increase it, which is an achievement because they've scaled to a lot of tier 3 regions, as you're quick to point out, Eric. Like the fact that they can maintain this level of monetization despite scaling with that DAU, I think is still impressive. But regardless, it hasn't grown. So I guess if you're looking at this from a financial perspective, what do you add on top of this $20 in terms of ad revenue? And we know the platform already kind of plays hyper casual-ish. People play as though there's a feed, there's an update, I go to that one, there's another update, I go to that one. So like, why not just like embrace the hyper casual playbook and put more and more ads in? I think this is a good thing to do.
Yeah. Let me just plus one everything you guys are saying. This is going to be a boring segment because we all agree.
This is like when the Supreme Court goes 7-0. Like, this is awesome.
I know. Yeah. This is crazy. So this is
the liberals and the conservatives unite.
Fucking huge. And so a couple of different things I want to break down. Their current ad business has not worked really well. It has been an immersive, them showing billboards, but not only from a player perspective, from a platform perspective. So here is like the amazing thing that is happening. This partnership with Google ad platforms with this kind of immersive ads does a couple of things. It gives them programmatic advertising. So programmatic means you can automate as a brand, as an advertiser. All of this is automated. You're not doing anything manually. You're going in and you're bidding. So the entire business can start to almost, in a sense, run on AI, which means a lot of money. So they also have the ability, because of the partnerships, to track the KPIs in a way that the brands can get the data they need to go improve the ROI of these ads. From a player perspective, here's what's also fascinating. They've run some tests. This is Roblox saying this. They said they had an 80% completion rate. This is a full screen ad. So you're playing on a mobile screen, you click the ad, comes up full screen for a 30-second ad, it goes away. So people actually watching the full ad to get their reward, just like we know in mobile, is actually working. In some cases, they said they had a 90% completion rate. So from a player perspective, right, these are kids who often don't have a lot of money, who are like, sure, I'll watch an ad to get my thing. Advertisers who want to hit this highly, highly valuable Gen Alpha target or early Gen Z target. So this is like win-win-wins, like all across the board. This got announced at what's called the IAB, which is the Interactive Ad Bureau. So there was a big kind of like ad conference, Cress, which is why you're hearing about this in addition to GDC. So a couple other things, if you're a parent. Number one is so many of the Roblox developers are under the age of 17. As a developer, you have to be 18 years old to put ads into your game. So it's kind of interesting that, you've got to be like an adult as you're building your games, to make money off of ads. That was really interesting. And number two is they're not going to show ads to under 13 kids, which I think many of us, press included, will laugh at, because we all know, and as any of us that have kids, everyone lies about their age on that platform, and it is really, really difficult. So your kids are now going to be, consumers of a new ad product. Get ready.
Yeah. Every time I hear this shit, it gets my Eric Seifert's fucking voice in my brain. Everything is an ad network thing. I fucking hate that shit. But yes, everything is an ad network. Anyway, two challenges. One is that the sophistication of the developers are relatively low. So integrating ads is a challenge, right?
Yep.
So that is going to be the one roadblock. And the second roadblock, which is not a roadblock, is this 13 age requirement, as you suggested, is that this actually helps them because their 13 and over group is far exaggerated in my view. Like everyone is opting in. There's no age verification whatsoever. So their audience is going to look a lot bigger than it really is when it's a bunch of 8-year-olds that are saying that they're 14, So
but the relative share has increased, right? Like that's the thing. Like I agree with you that maybe that's a level change, but you have to explain the rate of change.
There are more older kids playing on the platform.
And the third problem, again, is the majority of their MAU or DAU is from third world countries and tier 3 countries that are not tier 1 English countries, which is where advertising is the most valuable, right? So that is the other challenge from that perspective, is that I don't give a shit about advertising in India, right? Like it doesn't matter how many DAUs you have in India, that advertising unit is not worth as much as the US. And so, but other than that, like this is a great addition to the platform.
My regional DAU is the US is 22%. Europe is 24%, APAC 30 or 25%, rest of world. So US is about a fourth of the overall DAU, to your point.
They still are going to have lower eCPMs because their monetization just overall is still bad. I mean, if you look at the difference in average bookings per player per region, they have a sub breakdown of that. And the difference is like $40 for the United States. And I think it's around $6 for one of the lowest performing regions. So, I mean, there's going to be huge differences by region. I mean, Eric's not wrong about that.
Yeah, but still, like, what are they at? Like 90 million? What's a fourth of 90 million? You've got...
Yeah.
15 to 20 million DAU getting ads.
I'm just saying, if people start putting like eCPI or whatever the fuck times 90 million or whatever the fucking MAU they have, then they're going to get these numbers that are so ridiculous. That's what they were doing. That's what they were doing when back in the day with Candy Crush, right? And King stuff, when they started talking about advertising and they were expecting like $3 or $4 billion of revenue. It was like 500 to 600 million, like at the end, at the peak after like 6 years,
Yeah,
so,
and
anyway,
they built a whole organization to manage those ads. You remember when King was like, we're not going to do programmatic. We're going to have like, salespeople handling the ads. It's like an old school. So it's probably expensive and
deals.
Not very efficient. So what's this Roblox like? Is it going to be that powerful? Because like you're advertising to kids.
Well, they're 13 plus. so technically,
okay, Miss Roblox.
But there is almost no other place that advertisers can advertise to get to this audience. So the CPMs are going to be likely a little bit higher because, everyone's looking for, how do I show Red Bull to probably a bad example.
YouTube.
How does Prize Picks advertise to the next level? They got to dig deep, to get the next, like, degenerate gamblers.
I do imagine typically ad platforms won't allow gambling, tobacco. There's a lot of products.
Once you get into this business, dude, you get filthy, dude. You get filthy. Like everything's an ad network, right? Because it's fucking dirty birdie.